Rags and bonnets. Rags and bonnets on the head. Now I want to first point out how negative energies mutate. Nothing in the universe stays the same. And I've spoken about this in many of my other videos. Okay? Because the universe is ever changing, meaning evolving, energies either evolve in a more positive or negative way. So when black women started wearing head rags on their head like Aunt Jemima or a slave coming off their shift on the plantation, that was never addressed. So that allowed many women to make that a normal part of their life and take away what should be a sense of shame in doing that, because it looks like you don't care about yourself. It looks like you couldn't do your hair, didn't want to do your hair, and you're using a head rag or a bonnet to try to disguise the fact that you're too lazy to do your hair. Now, as I wrote in the article, I understand a lot of women do that to preserve their hairstyles. Okay, when women really started wearing head rags thinking it's fashionable, it was in the 90s. And I remember I had a friend, she would do her hair in updos. And when we got to school, she would take it off. Okay, it's not something that I did or that I would ever do. But when you flash forward now, I could really see how it's become a crutch for a lot of women. See, when you have the aura of not caring about yourself, it does make you less attractive. Now, I haven't really touched base on the article that came out not too long ago stating that black women are less attractive. That is something that I've always felt. And it has nothing to do with features. The energy of black women makes us less attractive because we don't understand our starting point and where we're coming from. Now, I wasn't born and raised in a horrible neighborhood, but I understand a lot of black women were raised and brought up in challenging environments. That right there creates an energy, because anything that you're exposed to penetrates you. Okay, so that's why you have women that come from certain environments. They sound a certain way, they act a certain way, and they have a certain demeanor. Now you have to envision where you want to go and how you want to rise up from the low standards that you were born and bred in. You do not want to wear as a cloth or clothing the low energies and standards of the environment you come from. You're trying to come out of that, not wallow in that. And that's the energy of head rags, which can be called do-rags also, and bonnets. Not fashionable scarves or scarves that religious women wear, but head rags and bonnets. It looks poor. It looks homeless-like. It has a homeless type of energy. And it looks like someone who's just getting by. Okay, because you have the option of doing your hair and going out into the world, or putting on a head rag or a bonnet and going out into the world. And you choose the latter to get by and simply disguise the fact that you did not do your hair. Okay, even for those women who have their hair done under the bonnet or head rag, it doesn't matter. That's still the energy that's conveyed. And you want to be attractive in your community. That's what I focus more on. Because there's a lot of reasons why black men have the right to be ashamed of some of the actions that black women take part in and do. And that's one of the things. How can you feel a sense of pride of the women of your race when they don't seem to have respect for themselves? Enough respect to do their hair. And of course it goes in both ways. You know, it applies to both genders, but I'm addressing black women right now. So for those of you out there wearing head bonnets and head rags, I just want you to understand how you look and come across. On the bus ride, I spoke about the girl I had to sit behind, and she had the head bonnet on the whole ride. I felt like snatching it off. And I wanted to say something to her. Then I realized that's not my place to attack individual souls. If she was a celebrity, I would say something. Okay, because celebrities become spirits and energies that hover above the masses. And they have to be attacked because they will influence and rain down their energy over those they hover above. But it's not my place to attack individual souls. But there was another incident. Now this girl had on a head rag like Aunt Jemima. The first woman had on a bonnet, and she had on a head rag. And they gave this girl such a hard time, where I thought about myself being in that situation, and I believed that they wouldn't have gave me as much as a hard time, because people treat you in certain ways based on how you present yourself. So this is why poor people and homeless people are treated so bad, because there's an energy of annoyance surrounding them, because it doesn't seem like they care about themselves enough not to be poor. It doesn't seem like they care about themselves enough to where they try to put themselves in a position where they can do for themselves. And you can get into the excuses of why they're in that position, but that's not how the mind works. People make split-second assessments and judgments. But this girl had on a rag like Aunt Jemima. It didn't have the same print, but it had flowers, but it was tied the same way. And she was trying to get on the bus, and the bus was about to leave. And I was praying she would get on the bus. She was so upset. They gave us such a hard time. They said, you have to go and get different tags for your bags. I mean, being picky. She had the documentation saying that she's supposed to be on that bus, but she had the wrong tags on her bag, so she had to rush and get different tags on her bag. And then when she came back, they gave her a hard time about something else. She ultimately was able to catch the bus, thank God. But it just shows how they didn't feel a need to really respect her. They were willing to dismiss her. Okay, because again, there's an energy of being annoyed when someone doesn't seem to care about themselves. If it was a classier woman who presented herself with a sense of dignity, people would take a woman like that. They would be willing to take her word and what she say into more consideration. People will dismiss those who seem to not care about themselves. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Challenge yourself. Stop walking around with these head bonnets and head rags. And understand that everything you do radiates the energy. And I'm going to talk more about that. I'm going to try to do more podcasts pointing out the different things that black women do that does make us seem less attractive. It does. I'm sure the article didn't surprise many people, even though a lot of black women came against it. There's so many things that make us unattractive. And as I said, and I'll speak more thoroughly about it in another podcast, it all starts with where you begin. People take that into consideration. Judging on how you begin and as you go through life, people want to see you either rise up and then you become an exception to the low environment you started in, or you blend in to that low environment you started in. Wearing head rags and bonnets you blend in to the low standards of the environment you started in. Just like black men who wear their pants sagging. But anyway, I don't want to make this long. I'll be talking about this more. Signing out.